Bonkers in the Bronx. Bottom of the ninth. And the bases are loaded with nobody out. Giancarlo Stanton at the dish. Swinging. Jazz Chisholm. Fly ball to right. Not deep enough. 2 outs. Last chance. Trent Grisham at the dish. Facing the former Yankee. Got him. 101 on the foul tip. And the Red Sox hang on to win it 3-1. Aroldis Chapman gets a 4-out save on a night when Garrett Crochet was simply amazing. Career high 117 pitches for Crochet, 11 strikeouts. His fastest pitch of the night was his last pitch of the night. He was incredible. The only mistake he made was a solo home run to Anthony Volpe. Volpe was awesome in this game. 2 for 3, the homer, a run, an RBI. Rest of the team 5 for 30. And again, the Yankee bullpen lets down the New York Yankees. It has been a theme all season long. One of the worst bullpens in all of baseball. Luke Weaver comes in, walks Cedar Rafaela, an 11-pitch battle, a double. Then Masataka Yoshida pinch hitting, 2 RBI single on the first pitch. And just like that, the Red Sox have a 2-1 lead. And then Alex Bregman adds on, and they win it 3-1. Let's get right to the site. Welcome in CBS Sports national baseball reporter Julian McWilliams, who joins us from Yankee Stadium. Yankees had bases loaded with no outs in the bottom of the ninth. You're sitting in the press box, Julian, and you're thinking, what is about to happen?
I thought Giancarlo Stanton was going to do what Giancarlo Stanton does, and that's show up in the playoffs and hit a bomb. Look, I thought that there was going to be a grand slam. I thought the Yankees were going to at least tie that game. Perhaps not a grand slam, but I thought they were going to tie that game. And you talked to Alex Cora afterward. They said, what were your emotions like? He was like, we just had to stay calm, right? But for me personally, you got to figure out a way to get a run in. And, you know, with Goldschmidt there, obviously he's not the fastest guy, so you can't send him on that. It wasn't deep enough. But, man, talk about a missed opportunity, because the Yankees, I mean, they got some really good at-bats, I think, against Crochet. Crochet, though he played, he had a dominant start. They worked the count, but ultimately he was just too much. And it's been like that all season with Crochet and the Yankees.
When you look at the Yankees not being able to come through there with bases loaded and nobody outs, who do you pin the blame on?
I think it's tough. I think at the end of the day, look, I think you have to pin the blame on Aaron Boone. I think Aaron Boone is a guy that, he chose to start Caballero when you could have had Caballero come off the bench and possibly pinch run for a Goldschmidt there. Ahmed Rosario. Look, I get the numbers. I get everything we're talking about. I understand the splits and everything like that. But you have Jazz Chisholm, who has 30 home runs on the bench, and then you have Ben Rice, who has 25-plus homers on the bench, or 24-plus homers on the bench. I think those guys at least need to be able to play in order to be able to get your best shot. You are a team that has built your entire roster on home runs. So now, all of a sudden, you go against that. That's something I think the game planning thing, whether it's the front office, Aaron Boone, I think it goes on those two people.
Yeah, sometimes you get a little too cute with matchups and it turns ugly. I mean, that's the story sometimes, right? Garrett Crochet, this was a heck of an outing, as you mentioned. First postseason start, career high 117 pitches. Fastest pitch was his last pitch of the night. Gets Austin Wells looking at 100. Perhaps maybe you put Ben Rice in there, maybe pinch hit Ben Rice there. I don't know if it would have mattered at 100 miles per hour. We'll never know. He strikes out 11, no walks, gave up the 1 home run, retired 17 in a row during the outing. Julian, what did you see from Crochet that made him so dominant?
Amazing. His fastball was playing. He was able to get his sweeper going. He didn't really have location, right, of some of his off-speed pitches and his breaking pitches, but the fastball is just so dominant. It gets on hitters so quick. The guy is 6'5", 6'6", right? With that huge leg kick, sort of that funky delivery, the ball sort of gets on you. It gets on you really, really quick. And he seemed to get better as he went along, because remember, he gave up the homer in the second inning. In the first inning, he gave up 2 back-to-back hits. But after, you mentioned it, after the Volpe hit, he retired Homer, he retired 17 in a row. He's just a dominant pitcher, and it didn't seem like he was getting tired. I felt like he was up to 117 pitches, but it seemed like to me he could have pitched a complete game. He was in ownership of this entire game, and the Yankees had no answers for him, and it's been like that the entire season.
Well, he gets rewarded in this one as the Red Sox get the victory. a great outing from Max Fried is spoiled. The bullpen comes in. It's been an issue all season for the Yankees. Luke Weaver comes in. I'm curious if you thought maybe Boone should have left Max Fried out there. He got the first out in the inning in the 7th. There's nobody on. He's at 102 pitches. I get it. He's at 102. But he's not going to pitch again until they advance the division series. So to me, why not empty the tank there? What are your thoughts on that?
100%. I was sitting there and I'm saying, man, you have to shorten the game as much as possible to get to the 9th inning, to get to the 8th and 9th inning, right? You don't want Luke Weaver coming in a situation like that. It was the bottom of the order, right? It was the bottom of the order. Ceddanne Rafaela, who was having some bad at-bats against Fried, chasing pitches outside the zone. He chases pitches the most outside the zone in the league, and all of a sudden you pull Fried. I thought he could at least got through that inning, and it shows you, right, with Alex Cora. And I always say that with these series, it seems like Alex Cora is 1 or 2 steps ahead of Aaron Boone, and I think that's the difference here. Alex Cora rides out Garrett Crochet because, as you mentioned, he's not going to pitch until the ALDS comes up. And then he goes right to his lefty for the 4-out save. Now, it got a little dicey, but you go with your best guys. You don't necessarily go with the guys that can leave you stranded here and have you down in the 0-1 hole. You go with your best guys, and I think you could have got a little bit more leash from Max Fried in that outing. Bases
loaded, nobody out in the 9th inning. I'm still sitting here stunned. I really am. We got a lot of Yankee fans here in our studio. I'm still stunned. You know me, I'm a Guardians fan. They had a runner third and nobody out in their game and lost that one as well. All right, we look ahead to Wednesday. It's Brian Bayo against Carlos Rodon. We know the Red Sox have owned the Yankees. 5 straight playoff games at the Yankee Stadium they've won. They've won 9 of their last 10 playoff games against the Yankees. 10-4 this season against the Yankees. I mean, call the Yankees my daddy. It's the other way around, right? I mean, that's what Pedro Martinez said. It's the Yankees being owned by the Red Sox. So what has to happen for New York to try to force a Game 3 here?
They're going to have to score runs. I think that's what it comes down to, because they're going to have to score runs, because the Red Sox, they're not a team that's able to get a bunch of runs. They can't score a bunch of runs in a bushel. They're a team that sort of sprays the ball around right after the Rafael Devers trade. They changed their identity. When Roman Anthony went on IL, they changed their identity again. So their thing is they're going to work counts. They're going to try to spray the ball around and try to win 4-3. The Yankees have to come out here and set the tone, because Brian Bayo pitches really, really well at Yankee Stadium. He has not been good his last 3 or 4 starts now. It looks like he's wearing down. I think they need to take advantage of Brian Bayo early, get to the bullpen, and then wrap this thing up and get to the Game 3 and see what happens.
We will see what happens. Julian McWilliams with us here on CBS Sports HQ from Yankee Stadium, where the Red Sox hang on to win it 3-1 after the Yankees had bases loaded with nobody outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. Julian, thank you. So, Game 2. Get ready. It's Brian Bayo getting the ball for Boston. Carlos Rodon gets the ball for the Yankees. Look, this is it right here. You got to win or your season's over. If you're the Yankees and you give the ball to Carlos Rodon, he's going to give you a shot, but Bayo's going to try to pitch the Boston Red Sox into the next round. First pitch just after 6 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday night.